Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Hari Bol. Dikka Mataji. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. So, okay. Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining on this Saturday Satsang program. So, last time when we did the Vishnu Sahasranam recitation, we have decided that monthly once we'll try to do this kind of recitation followed by verses and so on, like going through the meaning of what stotras we're chanting and so on. So we'll focus on Gajendra prayers for this class. So everyone can repeat after me. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayana, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supreme human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, unto Srila Vyasadev, the author, and Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master. Nashtapraye Shabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatchuttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So focus on what we chanted here. We told Bhagavat Chuttama Sloke, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. These are the Mangalacharan verses usually we recite before discussing on Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Agnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. So we'll go into the prayers of Gajendra-Moksanam. So before going into the meaning of these verses, majority of you might have been familiar with the story of Gajendra-Moksanam. So the climax is known for this story. So the past time we should say, because it has happened. I will tell when it's happened and all that. So there is an elephant, Gajendra, and if you know this story, I'll go into the story. But so there is an elephant which offers prayers to the Lord. When it is playing in a lake, its leg was attacked by a crocodile basically, and they fight for say 1,000 years is what Bhagavatam says, and they fight for thousands of years. So Gajendra uses all its might and strength to fight a crocodile, but it failed to do so. Then it starts to recite these prayers of Gajendra-Moksanam prayers, and then, as I told, at the end of the recitation, that at the end the climax is Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Hari comes on Garuda with a wielding disc and then liberate everyone there. Gajendra is given Sarupya Moksha, I'll go into that. And also the crocodile was also given its own form, and then this is a story. So basically story means whatever the past time that has happened. But why do we repeatedly go through these stotras or recite all these prayers and repeatedly visit the past times is for the purification of heart. So here what we saw with the prayers of Gajendra-Moksanam, we see an elephant reciting the verses. But it's not just any other elephant. So Srimad Bhagavatam or the Vedic scriptures, what they teach is, though so many activities of our day-to-day life, especially given entrapped with a human form of life, is very similar with that of animalistic activities. So there is a danger that men might, or the human beings might identify themselves with being in another animal. So there are 4 activities: Aharya, Nidra, Maidhunyam cha, and like that 4, like which is sleeping, eating, mating, defending. These activities are common with the animalistic species and with us also. But what Bhagavatam says is to, like the human form of life is not just to be busy with your these animalistic aspects of life, but also to think beyond what is given. So what it is, that is to inquire about the absolute truth. So there are these, Bhagavatam is usually very sweet, and there are some very strong verses also which makes us question what we are doing. There is a verse in second canto which says, Taravah kim na jivanti, bhastra kim na swasanyuta, na khedanti na mehanti, kim grame pasavo apare. Like that it comes. That is, if you are so proud as a human being that, hey, I am living, I am a living being, I am growing and going through a different phase of life, So then Bhagavatam says, Taravah kim na jivanti. Do the trees not live? So trees lives for hundreds of years. And so are their consciousness being upgraded? No. Taravah kim na jivanti. Bhastra kim na swasanyuta. If you are so proud that, hey, I am actually breathing, like I am taking like air and releasing air, and like my belly is expanding. So because of the breathing, what I am doing, if you are proud of that, Pastra kim na swasanyuta. Do the bellows of blacksmith not breathe? If you go into these old school blacksmiths, they use with the air pump and all, like that it will be there. Where the blacksmith will be there. So it says, Bhastra kim na swasanyuta. Na khedanti na mehanti. So do the animals, grame pasavo apare, do other animals also not live and not eat and not mate? Like that it says. So that means our activities should not be limited to these. We are given a higher purpose in life, that is to inquire about the absolute truth and engage in the activities of devotional service, perfect our life and go back to Godhead. So in that process of doing such activities, sometimes one lifetime might not be enough. Sometimes our vasanas might be too strong that we might not be able to complete it in one lifetime. So is it waste? Like, okay, because usually you all know, like activities of devotional life or spiritual life include certain inconveniences, like following strictly 4 regulative principles, dedicating 2 hours per day for chanting, and centering one's life with Krishna. Instead of I-centered or like we-centered living, we put like the divine couple in the center of our families, basically. So when we are doing this, then compared to the other materialists, it might appear we might be missing something in life, or there will be some inconvenience that are there. Then sometimes if the faith is affected, in terms of someone falls down or someone leaves the process, one assurity that in Srimad Bhagavad Gita also Krishna gives, that neha bhikramanasasti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. And also there is other verse also. Like suppose if someone is neha bhikramanasasti verse says that if you take just one step, trayate mahato bhayat, you will the greatest fear will be gone. That is, human form of life will be assured. And another verse what it says is, though if a yogi or like anyone, a spiritualist, is not able to complete that process and had to give up at between, mainly body. If he gives up the body or some discontinuation happens, then this is a permanent bank account what we are doing through spiritual activities. Wherever one leaves, there he will continue in whatever the lifetime he is going. One main example is Gajendra. So why I told about the 4 activities of animal life and all that. So not all animals are like doing animalistic activities. There is an exception like Gajendra, which actually shows that at the time of difficulty, it actually did the right thing that it should do. That is to offer prayers unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and take his shelter, and came out of that greatest difficulty. So Gajendra prayers come in 8th canto, 3rd chapter. So like majority of us, when we are revisiting, we'll just jump to 3rd chapter. But there are 2 verses in first chapter itself. I will just go through that and then we'll see. Tatrapi, one second, is 31, right? Yeah. Yeah. So text 31. So 131. So Sri Rajo Vacha Badarayana Yetatte Srotamicchamahe Vayam Hariryatha Gajapatim Grahagrastam Amumuchat. So this is the prayer by King Parikshit to Badarayani, that is like Shukadev Goswami, son of Badarayana, who is Vyasadev. So he is asking, so my dear Lord Badarayani, we wish to hear from you in detail how the king of elephants, when attacked by a crocodile, was delivered by Hari. So tadvitti pranipatena pariprasena sevaya upadekshanti te gnanam gnaninas tattva darsanaha. If you want to obtain that transcendental knowledge, one must approach in a submissive mode to a spiritual master and inquire, as how Parikshit is asking Sukadeva Goswami. Then he says this beautiful verse. So I'll tell what is this. Tat kadhasu mahatpunyam dhanyam swastyanam subham yatra yatrottama sloko bhagavan giyate harihi. That is, any literature or narration in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttama Sloka, is described and glorified in certainly great, pure, glorious, auspicious, is certainly great, pure, glorious, auspicious and all good. So this is the reason why we take opportunity to revisit the pastimes of the Lord, to discuss the pastimes of the Lord, and we have the home programs and all, where the constantly like going through or the narration of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's pastimes will give us all this. What is giving is glorious Swastyanam Subham Yatra Yatra Uttama Sloka, like wherever Uttama Sloka is glorified. So Uttama Sloka, what we said in the Mangalacharan verses also, the Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with Uttama Sloka, that is the choicest poetry offered to the Lord. So that is why whenever we want to pray, sometimes we might not have the competency in composing effective prayers without offenses, because we are not in a purified state. So one easy way that is given to us is to repeat the prayers of the Mahajanas, like whatever we saw with like Bhishma's Vishnu Sahasranama, or Bhishma Stuti, Kunti prayers, Prahalada Stuti, or all these prayers that are given in even in Gajendra also. By doing it, that is Uttama Sloka. So that is how we please Lord Hari. There is another meaning of the word Uttama Sloka also. Not only that Lord is being glorified by the choicest poetry verses, and also the Bhagavatam comprises of Uttama Sloka devotees. That is, Uttama Sloka is Bhagavatottamas or Paramahamsa Vaishnavas, the spotless and great devotees of the Lord. So even their glorification also we see through Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah. So like that, so Gajendra-Moksanam prayers started, and so we will, yeah. So in the second chapter, the where Gajendra's prayers are happening, those are all very well described. I will just briefly say in few sentences. So you all know I am going to tell before. Usually in Bhagavatam this story comes afterwards. So this Gajendra, why this elephant is so special in offering these prayers is, he is Indradyumna Maharaj in the previous life. So whatever the story that I am, whatever the pastime that I am saying now is from the 4th Manvantara. So there are 14 Manvantaras. We are in the 7th Manvantara right now. So this happened in 4th Manvantara. Each Manvantara goes for 300 or 350 millions of years. So in that Manvantara, and also there is said that this has happened near the Trikuta mountains. So Trikuta mountain means it has 3 peaks, which of iron, gold and silver. Iron, silver and gold. Like that 3 peaks are there. There is a reason why I am giving these tiny details. So Gajendra-Moksanam, as I told, it starts with Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit saying how glorious it is to recite the verses and the pastimes of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And also at the end, the Palasruti of Gajendra-Moksanam is given by Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari himself. He will tell in the 4th chapter or something that what happens if one chants that. So in that, so I think it's text. One second. 8 to 32. So okay, where it is going on. So basically, so this is the Trikuta mountain. It consists of 3: iron, silver, and gold. It also symbolizes, there are more meanings in Gajendra-Mokshana pastime. 3 peaks symbolizes that all the jivas, we are oscillating between the 3 modes. Sattva, Rajas, Tamo gunas is what our whole life is. Like from morning to evening, you just list out the activities. We will either be in the Sattva gun, Tamo gun, or Rajogun. So these all we will be doing. The thing is, the ultimate goal of spiritual life is that at the end we need to transcend these 3 modes and go to the Suddha Sattva, where we are constantly in the service of the Lord. So that is the Trikuta mountain. And there is a garden called as Ritumat garden. And there Gajendra, the elephant, the king of elephants, there is a description. There are these so on and so plants and so on, so animals. The lions are so fierce, but the Gajendra is so fierce that the lions and other animals actually run away from it. And so it has its so many wives and kids. So they are all entering into this lake, and they are all playing. So this depicts actually when, so in our life also there is some time where we might be in a comfortable position. So we should not be carried away by the comforts of the life, and always have the goal of what our life is through this pastime that Gajendra is showing. So so Gajendra's wives and kids were there, and so when it is playing in the lake, it made a crocodile angry. So that crocodile, so the crocodile pastime is he is the Hu. He's a Gandharva. His name is Hu, and he is cursed by Devala Maharshi, I think. And Indrajya Maharaj was cursed by Agastya Muni. So what happens is when Indrajya Maharaj is a very pious king, very pure devotee, you can say. Like pure means very practicing devotee. And when he was in the meditation, he doesn't pay attention to the surroundings. And Agastya Muni with all his disciples come there, the garden where he is also in the meditation. So because he did not pay respects to him, Agastya Muni curses to be because you are being lazy. He thought he's sleeping or something like that. So you will be an elephant, like that he says. And who is a Gandharva. This is some separate thing. So Devala Maharshi, when he is, so there are different types of yogas one performs. They'll do underwater, here, there, like that, like between the fire, in the sun, like that, different austerities these yogis do. One of the austerities is like he's performing under the water. So there, to tease before his wives or girlfriends, this Gandharva Hu will go and try to pull the leg of the Muni. Then the Rishi gets angry and he curses that because you are so desperate in pulling the legs of the yogis, let you be a crocodile, like that he curses. So Hu is a crocodile who is in that lake, and Gajendra playing in the lake and disturbing its ecosystem, it got very much upset and caught the Gajendra. So there is a fierce battle between Gajendra and crocodile. So there is a very graphic description of the state that Gajendra is in, that is given by Srimad Bhagavatam. That is, when Gajendra is fighting with it, one thing what it observed is, there are so many of his friends that are there, not only his wives and children. There is friends and other, so many elephant families are there. No one comes to help. After seeing the might with which Gajendra is fighting, they understood that this crocodile is so powerful that if we go, there is an immediate threat to our life, like that. So they are in fear. That's number 2. And third thing is, their fight actually surprised demigods. That means, so they are fighting so fiercely that even demigods are afraid. So Gajendra gave its best fight to escape the difficulty that it was subjected to. Then Aparayan Atma Vimokshane Chiram. So he could not save himself from the danger. He realized that. There is also a verse, like if my friends and these mighty people are also not able to do anything, what my dependents are going to do, like wife and children. Like that he prays. So then he understood that he is all alone in the fight. So this is actually, there are 5 limbs of surrender, Saranagati, that Ramanujacharya says. Ananyagatitvam, Akinchanatvam, like that he says, so on and so forth. That is Ananyagatitvam means other than Lord Hari, there is no other Gati for me. These are exemplified by Draupadi as well. If you see these pastimes of these Mahajanas, these great devotees, you see that first they use their full might. Even when Draupadi was being humiliated in Asat Sabha or Kuru Sabha, so first she tries to catch with the hands. Then Dusyasana is so powerful. Then she puts between her teeth, and like that she puts all the possibilities of saving herself from humiliation. And she looks at the husbands, nothing is happening. After all the things are gone, then she looks at Krupacharya in the audience. So Krupacharya looks up. That means we are bound by the laws of dharma. We cannot help you here. So there is only one person who can help you, that is God. Like that, he looks up like this. Then Draupadi will lift both of her hands up in the air and then call for Lord Hari, Sri Krishna. So that is where Krishna comes and gives her the sari and saves her from humiliation. And also we'll see in after, in Vanaparva, when Krishna once come and meet them, the situation where Krishna is, actually there is a fight going on in Dwaraka. He'll be defending his, they're doing some strategy and all that for that. And it is said by the residents of Dwaraka that time, that when the same time when Draupadi was lifting her hands and calling for Krishna, Krishna is actually in the court talking to the ministers, what's going on and all that. Immediately he gets up from the throne, gets down, it's on an elevation, so he climbs down the stairs 2 steps and immediately disappears there. And he returns after some time. So basically what happened is, he transported himself there in Anejadekam Manaso Javiyo Upanishad says that Lord may be situated in a spiritual world, but he is faster than mind, Manaso Javiyo, like that. So this Saranagati is, you have to know that Ananyagatitam, there is no other shelter other than Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Akinchanatvam, there is no other possession that could save me. Not that is what the Gajendra also realized, that there is no, my family, no one could help me in whatever the state that I am now. This is what Sankara says in, what is that? Ma kuru dhanajana yavvana garvam harati nimeshat kalat sarvam, he says in Bhajagovindam. That is, if you are pride of acquiring dhana, jana, Yavvana Garvam, they are all Harati Nimeshat Kala, in 1 second they will be gone. We saw that in LA wildfires also. People who built with millions and millions of dollars, just within 1 night they are homeless. So this is why whatever the material shelter you are taking will be gone. That is what Sankaracharya says. That point is death. So everything becomes zero at the point of death. No matter if you own half of the properties of San Diego also, at the time of death you are not going to carry it to the next life. But the opening sloka of Gajendra shows there is something that you can carry. That is our, whatever the spiritual practice that we are doing is continuing from the point where we are leaving it. So with that, we'll start from Canto 8, Chapter 3. So these are the verses that you recited. I will go, there is our monks, last few weeks, Canto 8 is running in our daily Bhagavatam class. So they have went through each sloka in a very expert manner, giving a detailed analysis on it. So I will just give a bird's eye view and of the prayers, so that we'll know when we are chanting how powerful are these verses, what they mean and so on. So with that, so the first sloka, Sri Badarayana Ruvacha, Evam Vyavasito Buddhya Samathaya Manohridi Jajapa Paramam Japyam Pragjanman Yanusikshitam. Because of its previous spiritual practice, of his previous spiritual practice, Gajendra remembered in the greatest time of difficulty that there is a Supreme Personality of Godhead who is actually the Supreme Being who can actually save me from this danger. That is, Api aham chatam yami paramparayanam, like that it says. That is, immediately Gajendra does the paramam parayanam, like that it says. And here we will see different aspects of it. So, buddhya samadhaya manohrudi. Dhi means intelligence. Samadhi means fixed intelligence. What it is fixed on? Mano hridihi. For a pure devotee who is like fixing his mind in devotional service, his mind is governed by intelligence or consciousness. For the other beings who are actually driving by the sense gratification, it's compared to a chariot. You remember, right? The senses are the horses, the rope is the mind, and the intelligence is the driver. So when you see Krishna, so Krishna is the charioteer, so he is the intelligence actually, and the Arjuna, we are the jivas, are given that body. So the ideal hierarchy should be, the senses should be controlled by the mind, and the mind should be controlled under intelligence. And that to strengthen the intelligence itself, we attend these Srimad Bhagavatam classes and listen to the Harikatha and chant the names of the Lord. So the intelligence is strengthened. So once the intelligence is strong, it gives the proper dictations to mind, and then you do what you are supposed to do and you avoid what you are not supposed to do, so that you do not go into this lower forms of life. So samadhaya manohridi jajapa paramam japyam, the supreme most prayer. That is, what is the supreme most prayer? Any prayer that is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So pragjanmana sikshitam, this is one important thing that is said. That is, it remembered what he remembered what he has learned from his previous life. So with that, pragjanmana sikshitam. So whatever we have done in our previous life is not in our control. The only control we have is what activities we are doing in this lifetime. So by whatever the promise the Gajendra is giving is an insurance to our soul, basically. That whatever the spiritual life you are doing will continue like that. So why we chanted the mantra? So Prabhupada writes in one purport, I will read, very nice it is. So it is at the end of text 1 of Canto 8, Chapter 3. It is imperative, therefore, that all devotees in Krishna consciousness practice chanting some mantra. Certainly one should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, which is the Maha Mantra or the great mantra, and also one should practice chanting Chintamani Prakara Sadma Suskalpa Vruksham, like that. Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Brahma Samhita. Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vruksha Laksha Vruteshu Surabhira Bhipalayantam Srasata Sambhrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. When the first darshan of the Lord opens, every day in our temple hall we open with the prayers of Brahma Samhita. So that, or Narasimha Stotra, Ito Narasimha, Parato Narasimha, Yato Yato Yami, Tato Narasimha. Every devotee should practice in order to chant some mantra perfectly, so that even though he may be imperfect in spiritual consciousness in this life, in his next life he will not forget Krishna consciousness, even if he becomes an animal. That is the thing that Prabhupada is saying. So that's why recitation of these mantras, repeating, like chanting of these slokas by Mahajanas is very important for us. So the next, so Gajendra is starting to offer its prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yatayetat Chidatmakam Purushaya Adibijaya Pareshaya Abhidimahi. That is Om. It starts with the one syllable mantra of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Om, Omkara is called Pranavam, Pranava. Pra means Prakriti, that is material world. Nava means one which transcends the material world, that is Pranavam. And we know what is Pranava is. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am the Pranava, that he is the one syllable sound representation of Supreme Personality of Godhead is Om. That's why there is one thing Prabhupada quotes from one of the Upanishads, that is Om Tat Saditi Nirdesho Brahmanas Trividas Smrtaha. That is what it says is the three words Om Tat Sat immediately invoke the Supreme Person. So here Om, by saying Om Namo Bhagavate Tasmai Yatayetat Chidatmakam. So it is saying that I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Personal Vasudeva. Because of him, material body acts due to the presence of spirit, and he is therefore the root cause of everyone. He is worshipable for such exalted persons as Brahma and Shiva, Purushaya Adibijaya Pareshaya Abhidhimahi, and he has entered the heart of every living being. Let me meditate upon him. So he is Purushaya, Adi Bijaya, he is the source of everything that is coming, and he is Pareshaya. Isha are the controllers. Paresha is the supreme controller. So Abhidhimahi, let me meditate on him. Like that it's offering its thing. So next verse also, Yasmin idam yataschedam yenedam yaidam swayam. So when we recite in the meter, we miss the beauty of this. So I'll tell what it is. Yasmin idam yatascha idam yena idam ya idam swayam. That is what. So in the Upanishadic way of saying idam and ataha is that, like the spiritual world, and idam is the material world. Purnamatah purnamidam purnat purnamudachyate purnasya purnamadaya purnameva vasishyate. So it is saying about how that spiritual world is complete, the material world is complete, like that. So in this prayer what it says is Yasmin idam. So all this material world which is created, by what constituents it is, yatascha idam, yena idam, by whom is this material world is created, and yasmin idam means by on to which personality is the world is resting, idam swayam, and he himself entered into this world, isavastam idam sarvam. And yaha asmat parasmat cha paraha, that's what it says. That is, he is he transcends asmat and parasmat. He goes beyond the cause and effect. Tam prapadye swayambhuvam. So the effect is the creation, but what is the cause? So that their Supreme Personality of Godhead comes. So all the demigods like Brahma enables that cause into the effect, what is the creation. So this is why when Gajendra is reciting this prayer, no other demigod came. Because what it is, what Gajendra is calling is onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Hari. So that's why Hari comes at the end. So that is the second verse. Yasvatmanidam nijamaya yarpidam kvachit vibhatam kvachatat tirohitam. That is, by expanding his own energies, he is creating all these creations. And Yahasvatmanidam. So he himself is coming into this world, like Rama, Krishna and all that. And kvachit vibhatam kvachatat tirohitam. Sometimes this universe is manifested, sometimes you can't see it because it is in Mahatattva. It's not emanated yet. So, avidya dhrik sakshubhayam tadikshate, but that Supreme Lord, he is sakshi, he is witnessing everything, creations, annihilations and everything. Sa atma mulo, he is the original self-sufficient, having no other cause. At Atma Mulaha, Avatu Maam Parat Paraha, to that Parat Paraha, Avatu Maam, I offer protection, like that it's Gajendra is praying. Now text 5. Kalena Panchatta Miteshu Kritsnaso, Lokeshu Paleshu cha Sarva Hetushu, Tasmat Tadasit Gahanam Gabhiram, Yastasya Pare Virajade Vibhu. That is, through the effects of time, in the course of time, Panchattvam Iteshu Kritsnaso, there are creations and annihilations that are happening, and because of that there are lokas, right? So worlds and universes are there. There are lokeshu, paleshu, the landlords and the kings are the demigods who are supervising the worlds. In the world there are like monsoons covered by the maruts, and there are ashtavasus like air, water, all these demigods are supervising this, and there is a secondary creator who is Brahma, who is creating this. Like that there is series of lokas, 14 lokas and all that. So there are lokeshu, paleshu, sarva hetushu, and the reason why this is being there is because of this, the demigods that are there. So all this tamastadasid gahanam gabhiram, beyond all this creation, whatever the dense darkness that is there, and behind that there is a Supreme Person. To that Supreme Person who is abhivirajate, who is actually growing in the self-effulgence, to that Lord I offer my oblations. That's what it says. Nayasya deva rushayah padam vidur. So this is the text 6. So like there is a verse, Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutastunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Kramopanishadair Gayantu Yam Samagah Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na Vidussura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. After putting down all the partitioning of the Vedas, and writing 108 Upanishads which are excerpts from the Vedas, and because people might not understand, Vyasadeva has given us Panchama Veda Mahabharatam, and he gave 17 Puranas, and at the end, the topmost Purana that is there, that is Srimad Bhagavatam. In the last chapter are these prayers, whatever I said. So, outside of whose door Brahma, Rudra, Maruta, all the demigods are standing and offering the verses of Upanishads and Vedas and glorifying Lord to that Lord. And Dhyanavastita tadgatena manasa pashyantiyam yogino. In the depths of the yogic meditation, like after 500 years of Ashtanga Yoga, where the four-handed form of Paramatma is being revealed to these yogis, and yasyantam na viduhu surasura gana. You take the greatest of the god, demigod, you take the greatest of the demon, whatever the power they might possess over the elements of the universe, they cannot understand who that Supreme Personality of Godhead is. Onto that Narayana, I am offering my prayers. That's what Sukadeva Goswami gives. This also comes in that. Like that, Nayasya Deva Rushaya Devaha Rishaha Padam Viduhu Jantu Punah Ko Harti Ganthamiritum. The first stage of surrender is Dainya. If those people are only not able to get revelation of who you are, an animal, an elephant, what I can know? Like that it is asking. The first stage of Saranagati is Dainya. That's why when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was writing songs, he gives this one album itself in Saranagati series. It resembles the Dainyam. I am fallen, you will keep hearing the devotees saying that. That's because of the Dainya Sthiti, which is the first stage of Saranagati. Unless you realize that you are helpless, Ananyagatitvam, Akinchanatvam, and adopt this Dainya Sthiti sincerely, you cannot get what Supreme Personality of Godhead is. That this verse reflects that. Yatha natasya kritibir vichestato duratyayanukramana samavatu. This is a beautiful thing. And so, when an artist is performing something, like there might be some dramas that people are playing and so on, they will, not your spiritual dramas, I am saying about cinemas and all that. Yeah, so the kids are like thinking of their dramas. So there might be someone who is having a completely different attire, but their original thing is completely covered. We never know what that person is going through in his life, whatever the artist that is there. Like that, like Lord is being revealed in one form, but his original is not very much revealed. Like that, he is in a covered form. So may that Supreme Personality of Godhead give me protection. Like that it is saying. And how I get that protection? Didrikshavo yasya padam sumangalam vimukta sangha munayas susadavaha. Now Gajendra is saying about susadavaha and munis. So when the pure devotees, didrikshavo, when they are aspiring to see that beautiful form, Padam Sumangalam, the auspicious form, Vimukta Sangha, they are giving up these material attachments, and material attachments in the sense, even attachments to the material sense gratification, ideas itself. Charan Chaloka Vratam Avranam Vane. So they are actually going through the material world like our brahmacharis and all. They are sannyasis who are taking Aloka Vratam. Aloka Vratam means they are taking the Vratam of Aloka, means not having progeny, not marrying, not entering into like material life itself. So those great souls also, Bhutatma Bhutaha Suhrudha Samegatihi, what the destination that they are moving to in those path, that is my hope and my target path. That is what Gajendra is saying. And navidyate yasya janma karmava nanama rupe gunadosha yevava tadhapi lokapya sambhavayaya swamayaya tanya anukala murchati. That is, his birth, activities and pastimes are not of any material in nature, and it's freed from faults. Nama rupe gunadosha yevava. So what is the difference between us and Radhesham Prabhu gives this example. What's the difference between us and Supreme Person of Godhead? So some of us might have Kamala Lochan, lotus side, but the eyes will be, one will be in LA and one will be towards New York. So our name and our form has no connection. But Lord is not like that. When it said like Kamala Lochana, his eyes are like really like a lotus form. So he don't have any Rupa Dosha, Guna Dosha, faultless features and faultless beauty and faultless names and all that. His name and himself are non-different. So that is also there. That is in Padma Puran it says, when we are taking the name of Lord Hari, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, so that the holy name itself has a form, a beautiful Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. But because of our covering of our own previous life's conditionings and so on, that form is not being revealed. So gradually going through the purification of process, and also by going through the stages of offenseless chanting, that beautiful form will be revealed. So we should be sincerely approaching the holy name with great respect and daily do it, without fail. So that is the Navidyate Yasya. So the text 10, Namah Atma Pradipaya Sakshine Paramatmane Namo Giram Viduraya Manasas Chetasamapi. So he is offering respectful obeisances to the Atma Pradipaya. He is a supremely effulgent super soul. Who is Sakshine Paramatmane? In Bhagavad Gita, 13th chapter, Krishna defines how Paramatma will be. Upadrashta, Anumanta, cha Bharta, Bhokta, Maheswaraha. Like that he says how Paramatma is there in every living being. He is Upadrashta, he is the supervisor, or like who is seeing, director of all the things that is going on. Upadrashta, Anumanta, that is, he is the permitter. We might think something, we might act towards it, but the one who permits those actions and gives results is that Anumanta, so permitter. Upadrashta, Anumanta, Bharta, Bhokta, Maheswaraha. He is the supreme controller, he is the supreme proprietor and also enjoyer as well. So to that supreme effulgent soul, that is what he said. Sakshi, it witnesses all the things. We will see in the subsequent verses also, again it repeats. Lord Paramatma observes what Jiva is consuming through its senses. We should be very careful. Like what we are doing with our senses. So what information or what we are doing. Badrinath Maharaj tells, good in, good out. Garbage in, garbage out. Krishna in, Maya out. So that is the formula. That is the formula of whatever activities we do. So whatever we are doing through our senses, there are 5 senses. Sparsa, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. Sparsa, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha, there is another one. So eyes, seeing and touching, hearing, and whatever the activities we are doing, we are consuming information through that. So whatever information we are seeing, Paramatma is Sakshi, is witnessing all that. What thoughts are running and all those. So we should be answerable, accountable to Paramatma. That's how a devotee lives. Satvena Pratilabhyaya. So for a devotee, by activities of the Suddha Sattva, Pratilabhyaya, he is achievable. That is what it is said. Satvena Pratilabhyaya, that is what Gajendra is praying. Naishkarmyena Vipaschita. There are, throughout the day, throughout our life, we are performing activities. Some activities are binding us to this law of the cycle of birth and death. So there are some activities which might elevate us to higher planetary systems by charitable activities. There are some activities by doing tamasic activities are making us degrade in our subsequent lives. There are some mental cravings, the thoughts that are forming, these are actually forming our next lives. So whatever actions we are doing are actually the consequences is our next and next lives. So Naishkarma, the activities of transcendental activities, destroys those. Destroys means we will be freed from the next life, the cycle of birth and death. So Naishkarmyena Vipaschita. By persons who are sufficiently learned, they perform these activities of transcendental activities. And Namah Kaivalyanadhaya. There might be people who are aspiring for liberation, but he is the master of those who are that liberation aspires. And Nirvana Sukha Samvide, he is the bestower of uncontaminated happiness and is master of transcendental world. Spiritual master of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ishwarpuri, says this verse. This is recorded in Padyavali, compilation of the verses. He says, Yoga Srutyupapatti Nirjanavana Dhyanadva Sambhavita Nirbhayamami Mukta Bhayantu Dvijaha. That is, if some Dvijas are participating in the activities where like when they are incessantly chanting Vedic stotras or upapatti, attainment, nirjanavana, going through an isolated forest and performing these activities of tapasya for a long period of time. Like that, they are going to extreme austerities. If they are doing that, Ishwarpuri is praying that let them do that, but asmakam tu. He is showing what a devotee wants. Kadamba kunja kuhara pronmilad indivara sreni syamala dhama nama jushatam janmastu lakshavadhi. Then going into these paths of impersonal liberation, let me takes janmastu lakshavadhi, millions of lifetimes in chanting the beautiful name of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what the two lines what I chanted means is that whose dark complexion, dark blue complexion, and wearing yellow pitambara garments is a set of host of blue lotus in yellow flower bearing kadamba trees. That's what that verse is. So devotees always aspire to chant and go into the service path rather than going through the extreme austerities path. So Kshetragnaya Namastubhyam, text 13. Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine Purushaya Atmamulaya Mula Prakritaye Namaha. So Kshetragna, I told you, every body is a field of activities. So there are two Kshetragnas in our body. There are so many, but majorly two players. So one is Jiva, one is Paramatma. But what quality that a Jiva doesn't have? Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine. We are not Sarvadhyakshaya Sakshine. So we have limited control, but Lord has supreme control over everything. So this is also Paramatma form. Purushaya, Atmamula is the source of all Antaryami, Paramatma, and who is the original source of everything. Mula Prakritaye Namaha. Prabhupada writes expert purports actually to these verses. He tells he is the origin of all that material things that you are seeing. That Prakriti and Pradhana, that is Mula Prakritaye Namaha. Prakriti is the manifested form of the material nature, what we are seeing. And Pradhana is before the manifestation, whatever the sum total of all the material substance that is there in that Mahattattva. So that is the Pradhana. He is the Mula Prakritiya Namaha. He is the source of Prakriti and Pradhana. This actually comes in the discussion of third canto in one of the purports. Prabhupada goes in a very thesis-like definition in discussing Pradhana and Prakriti. Can Kala be Pradhana? No, because the time cannot be Pradhana. This Prabhupada writes, time has reactions and actions, so it cannot be part of Pradhana. Can Jiva be part of Pradhana? He cannot, because there are activities that are being performed, and also he is not a material substance. So like this, Pradhana and Prakriti, Mula Prakriti Namaha, to that form, Gajendra is offering prayers. 14. Sarvendriya Gunadrastre Sarva Pratyaya Hetave Asatachaya Yuktaya Sadabhasayate Namaha. So he is the Sarva Indriya Gunadrastre. This is what I told. So Indriya, Sarvendriyas, what we are doing, and Gunas, the modes we are going through. Drastre is a supreme observer. What you are consuming through eyes, what you are consuming through smell, what you are eating, all that. Maybe there is no other person next to you, but Sarvadhyakshaya Gunadrastre, Sarvendriya Gunadrastre. There is one person who is witnessing all that, and to that Paramatma Gajendra is offering praise. Sarva Pratyaya Hetave. So he is the original. Sarva Pratyaya Hetave means when we are going on spiritual path, there will be some doubts. There will be some faith gaps. Sometimes many people fall prey to that because of not having proper shelter to take to, and they leave the path of spirituality and steps down. Example, I'll tell Wali. Wali, before fighting with Sugriva and going into that cave, he's a very pious person actually. There is no blame that he has. But once there is a misunderstanding that Sugriva wants me to be dead. When Sugriva closes the door of the cave, when Vali is fighting with a Rakshasa, he misunderstands, and after that whatever he does is adharma. So that's why Ram never shakes hand with Vali, but he takes in his son. Afterwards, Vali only gives. I realize what my mistake is. Please take my son Angatha into your protection, like that he says. So, Sarva Pratyaya Hetavis is the destroyer of all the doubts that arises in the devotee's life. And Asata Chaya Yoktaya Sadabhasayate Namaha. Whatever we are seeing in the Drusya Jagat is Asat. That means temporary. That's why we pray Asatoma Satkamaya. Please lead me to the permanent. That is, what is that permanence? The spiritual world. So, we saw in the Purushottam Yoga chapter, right, how, what is that verse? Inverted banyan tree. This 15th chapter, what is that verse? Okay, what it says is the material world. Urdhamoolamatassakam asvattam prahuravyayam. That is Urdhamoolamatassakam asvattam, the great banyan tree. Upside down banyan tree is the material world that is compared. Because there is a spiritual world and this is a replica. This verse actually says that. Asata chaya yuktaya sadabhasayate namah. There is sat, which is a permanent thing. But in a mirror image, as a covering, you are giving this asat. So to that Lord who is beyond that sat and asat, who is the source of that sat, to that Lord te namaha, I am offering my obeisances. That's what it says. So Namaste Kila Karanaya, oh my Supreme Personality of Godhead, Akhila Karanaya, you are the, whatever the activities, you are wonderful cause of everything. But Nishkaranaya, do you have any cause of existence? Why you are there? No. There is no cause of existence of God. So that is why he is Nishkaranaya. But Adbhuta Karanaya, whatever the pastimes that he does is Adbhuta Karanaya. So we saw like Ambodhi Sthalatam, Sthalam Jaladhitam, Dhuli Lavastailatam in Padyaval it is there. That Lord plays this wonderfully mischievous pastimes where he can convert flat lands into mountains, oceans, great oceans into flat lands. He can convert Dhuli Lavastailatam. He can turn a dust particle into a mountain and a mountain to dust particle and Ayati Yasyachaya, like that etc. activities he performs. Leela Dur Lalitat Bhuta Vyasanine Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. So to that wonderful Lord who performs these transcendental pastimes, wonderfully playful and mischievous pastimes, to that Krishna I offer my oblations. Like that Rupa Goswami includes that verse in Padyavali. So Nishkaranaya Adbhuta Karanaya Sarvaga Mamnaya Maharanavaya Namopavargaya Parayanaya. He is the source of Sarva Agama. Agamas are the revelations or Vedic scriptures. And to put the Vedic scripture teachings into practice, Amnaya, that is the parampara and the traditions. So he is the Sarvaga Amnaya Maharanavaya. Arnavam means ocean. He is the ocean of the transcendental knowledge. So Namo Apavargaya Parayanaya. So I does this Parayana, the shelter of all transcendentalists, to that Apavargaya. So Pavarga means Pappa Babha Ma. That's what Pavarga literally means. Pappa Babha Ma means Pa means Parishrama, endeavor. Pa means Fena. Fena means mouth. Foam in the mouth. That means who does like a donkey-like work, basically, for just accruing that eating, mating, sleeping, defending, hard work what Jivas did, that is Pa. Ba is Bhishada, that is lamentation. And Bha means Bhaya. And Ma means Murtyu. So a gross materialist always goes in this Pappa Babbama. When you are coming to spiritual life, you are going to take shelter who is Apavargaya, who breaks this Pavargas, and is the transcendentalist. To that Lord I am offering my obeisances. Gunarit, the 16th verse. Gunaranichanna Chidushmapaya. Very nice verse this is. The word Aranyam means the abode of firewood. So Gunaranichanna Chidushmapaya means in the previous days, in the Vedic times, there is no matchbox like lighter they hit the Yagnakund. What they do, they take the firewood and they like this they do. So that is what the Arani wood. They take the two Arani wood and they spark the fire. And the smoke that comes from the fire is compared here. Guna, Ranichanna. So with the whatever that is covered with the three modes behind it, Chidushmapaya, there is a fire of Chit, the transcendental intelligence and all that. That is the Lord's form. Tad Kshobha Vispurjita Manasaya. So, but you are not bound to these activities of gunas and whatever the properties of the material world. Naishkarmya bhavena vivarjitagama. So by whatever the principles directed in the, so those who are advanced in the spiritual knowledge are not subjected to the regulative principles directed in Vedic literatures. That is, they don't go into these karmakandic activities and take the path of devotional services. Swayam prakasaya. For those you reveal yourself, O Swayam Prakasaya, self-effulgent personality, Namaskaromi, offering my obeisances. Like that it says. And Madrik Prapanna, so these are all, it is again saying that I am also an animal offering surrendered to you. You also freeze anyone like Pasupasa, Vimokshana you give and so on. So, So we'll go to text. Text 19. So text 19, Yam dharma kamartha vimukti kama. So those who are actually in the fruitive activities approaching Lord, you will give them whatever you want. Bhajanta ishtam gatimapnuvanti. Of course, this is not what a devotee does, but whoever are coming for the dharma artha kama mokshas, like what dharma artha kama, you are providing those to them. Kimcha shisho rat apideham avyayam. What to speak of it? You give avyaya body. That is sarupya moksha. That is what is being awarded to Gajendra also. That is sarupya moksha is like Narendra Modi and I have same body. So like we are having the same, whatever the body features are there, that are there. But Narendra Modi's influence is not there for me. Like that. So the Sarupya Moksha is that you are awarded the body of the Narayana itself. You will have 4 hands, like you will have, like the external everything appears same. But he is in the Vibhu, we are Anu form. So that is a Sarupya Moksha. They all that on that planet, one of the planetary system of Vaikunta planet, all of them will have same form. But there are some signs Vishnu will have, which is the Kaustubha jewel and Mahalakshmi's mark and Srivatsank and like that, everything like that. So that is one thing. And the text 20 says, Ekantino yasya nakanchanardham vanchanti evai bhagavat prapannaha. So bhagavat prapannaha, pure devotees, they approach to you without anything in mind. And ekantino, that is unalloyed devotees, they have no other contamination. So Achyadbhutam tat charitam sumangalam. Your pastimes, Achyadbhutam, they are wonderful, and sumangalam bestows all auspiciousness. Gayanta ananda samudramagnaha. So these devotees will sing of your glories of the transcendental oceanic pastimes with ananda sandraha, with so much oceanic bliss they get while like chanting your verses. That's what it says. And so it says about the stages of surrender and so on. And we'll go to so many of the things which covers the last verses also. Yeah. So Soham Viswam Srijam Viswam Aviswam Viswavedasam, 26th one. So now it coming to the conclusion prayers. So Saham, to that Lord I offer these prayers. So Viswasrijam, he actually creates the Viswa, and Viswam, he himself enters into that Viswa. Aviswam, before the creation also he is there. Viswavedasam, he is known all over these worlds. And Viswatmanam is the original source of all the Viswas. Ajam Brahma and Pranatosmi Parampadam, he is the supreme destination. To that Lord I am offering my obeisances. And even the prayers continues with we'll go through the last verse, the 29th verse, which Gajendra says is Nayam Vedaswamatmanam Yachaktyaham Dhyahatam Tam Duratyaya Mahatmyam Bhagavantam Yitosmyaham. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose illusory energy the Jiva, who is part and parcel of the God, forgets his real identity because of the bodily concept of life. I take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose glories are difficult to understand. That's what Gajendra prays. When Gajendra utters these prayers, you can see the transformation of Gajendra's heart, and it is offering these prayers. So even though Gajendra did not mention Narayana or like Krishna, Rama specifically, but all those verses attribute to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So after seeing the prayers of Gajendra, so this is the 32nd verse. Sontas sarasyurubalena gruhita arto. I have said the meaning of this verse. That is when Saha, that Gajendra, Antah sarasi, in middle of the lake, urubalena gruhita arto, when it's captured by the crocodile, Drishtva Garutmati Harimkha Upatta Chakram. Then he saw, in the previous verse we'll see that Hari comes with the demigods, and the demigods offers the prayers in the background, O Lord and all, but he comes with the the wielded Sudarshan Chakra in his hand. Utkshipya Sambujakaram Giramaha Krichnan. So Gajendra takes out the lotus from the lake and with great difficulty offers these words, Narayana Akhilaguru Bhagavan Namaste. So Narayana, who is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana Akhilaguru, who is the Supreme Master of the universe, Bhagavan, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Namaste, offer these obeisances. With this, what happens is, Hari comes and he releases Sudarshan Chakra, lifts Gajendra from the lake. That is, it's both figurative and also literal, that whoever are trapped in this material world, that Lord is offering his support and bringing us out of this cycle of birth and death. And whatever that is trapping and the great danger that one is feeling, he takes his Sudarshan disc and cuts off that crocodile head. And then the original Swarupa of actually it is said in the next chapter or something. So the original form comes and he takes the circumambulation, he does pradakshina of Lord Hari and Gajendra, and then he goes to the world. And Gajendra was given, because he is touched by Lord Hari, Hari touches Gajendra, so he is freed from all the lamentation and all, and he was given Sarupya Moksha, and he goes to Supreme Personality of Godhead. You know how he goes? Lord Hari gives a ride to Gajendra actually. So he came on Garuda, he will take the Gajendra, and like all of them go back to the Vaikunta. That's what it said in this. So that is the Gajendra-Moksanam. There is just one thing I'll just read out in like 30 seconds. So what happens if you recite these prayers of Gajendra? So Lord gives Falasruti directly. Lord himself gives that. I got so used to Veda based, books are getting harder actually. So the story will be said, and 1 second, I'll just read that. Yeah. Why I told the details about that mountain and all, I will say. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, freed from all sinful reactions are those who rise from the bed at the end of night, early in the morning, and fully concentrate their minds with great attention upon my form, your form, this lake, this mountain, the caves, the gardens, the cane plants, the bamboo plants, the celestial trees, the residential quarters of me, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, the 3 peaks of Trikuta mountain made of gold, silver and iron, my very pleasing abode, the ocean of milk, the white island, Svetadvipa, which is always brilliant with spiritual rays, my mark of Srivatsa, the Kaustubhajam, my Vaijayanti garland, my club Kaumodaki, my Sudarsana disc and Panchajanya conchal, my bearer Garuda, the king of birds, my bed Seshanag, my expansion of energy, the goddess of fortune, Lord Brahma, Narada Muni, Lord Shiva, Prahlada, my incarnations like Matsya, Kurma and Varaha, my unlimited all auspicious activities which yield piety to he who hears them, the sun, the moon, fire, the mantra Omkara, the absolute truth, the total material energy, the cows and brahmanas, the devotional service, the wives of Soma and Kashyapa, who are all daughters of King Daksha, the rivers Ganges, Saraswati, Nanda and Yamuna, and the elephant Airavata, Dhruva Maharaja, the 7 rishis, and the pious human beings. My dear devotee, unto those who rise from bed at the end of night and offer me prayers offered by you, I give an eternal residence in the spiritual world at the end of their lives. That is why in the Vaishnava Bhajan, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Krishna, Jaya Vrindavana, we always think of Lord, Lord's form, Lord's divine associates, and also Lord's activities, dhams, all this when we remember, these are all the meditation that we can do. So with one last sloka I conclude. In Mukundamala Stotra, Kudasekara Alvar says this, Yat Krishna Pranipata Dhuli Dhavala Tadvarshma Tadvai Siras. That head is loftiest, which offer obeisances repeatedly before Sri Krishna, and it's covered from dust. Ya Buddhi, Sa Buddhi, Vimalendu Senka Dhavala, Yamadhavadhyayini. That intelligence is white as a conch shell which always meditates on Lord Hari. What else is there? The second thing is te netre tamasojjita suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate. Those eyes are freed from darkness and are illuminated with the divine chakshu that Lord has given, which always takes the darshan of the Lord, which happens in 5 minutes. And te netre tamasojjite suruchire yabhyam harir drishyate, which constantly take darshan of the Lord. Sabuddhi vimalendu senka dhavala yamadavadhyayini, that intelligence is white as the conch shell, which always thinks of Lord Hari. And Sajihvamrutam Pratipadam Varshinim Yastauti Narayanam, which always glorifies and chants the name of Lord. Whatever like that person speaks, it always Amrita Varsham happens. We see that with the great devotees like Dravida Prabhu, and also we'll see. Always they take an opportunity to tell about Harikatha and the poetry and so on. So with this, I conclude this class. Thank you so much. This is the entire Gajendra-Moksanam in a bird's eye view. Please go. There are expert purports and commentaries written by Srila Prabhupada. This is in the 8th canto. Chapters like 2 to 4 is what we went through. So thank you so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Yeah, thank you. So within like 4 minutes we'll have darshan. We'll do a last arati and we'll have prasadam. Thank you so much. So if anyone wants to be added to the Saturday Satsang group, please let me know. We have a group. I will make the announcements of, we did like last year we have done Secrets of Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita we do every Saturday. And then we did Isopanishad series, and we recently finished Isopanishad series. And also we have this monthly event where one of the Saturdays of each month we does this recitation and discussion on the like important stotras. And as I heard, Matajis are going to practice Nrisimha Kavacha, so we probably might discuss on Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes and Nrisimha next event. Yeah, so that's all. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.